We never thought our life will make such a drastic change within a few weeks. Well, it all started basically when my parents finally found a new home for themselves. I mean, at that time we were living in the top apartment in my parents' house.
Max renovated the apartment years ago. How long ago was it actually?
I think it must have been like 7 years ago, I think. And since then, we lived there.
Yeah, you lived there before.
I mean, it was really cozy, to be honest, but also quite small.
It was a little bit small. There was not very good storage space, I think.
But the thing is, I kind of always had the feeling that something's missing in my life or in our life. And I was always kind of waiting for life to start. And I never knew why.
It's kind of like living with your parents, even though you weren't.
Yeah.
It was very cute and I loved having them there, but sometimes it felt like you're still living with your parents. Or we are still living with your parents.
Yeah, I know.
But knowing that we had to kind of move out soon anyway, we started looking for a new house online. We always dreamed of having a house with a lot of privacy, living in nature, no neighbors, very remote style living. But we were living in the south of Germany, and that's one of typically the most expensive areas, so it was very difficult to find something there. So first we ended up finding an old wooden farmhouse. It was about 2 hours away from the apartment, so we decided to view it. It was very beautiful, but we realized that the renovations would be way over our budget, and it was also a monument, meaning that you would have to use all the special materials to rebuild it, making it even more difficult. So we kept searching. We decided to not only look in the south, but also the north of Germany, as we pretty much have clients everywhere, including the Netherlands.
So we kept scrolling through this huge list of houses online, and it literally took us days. But at one point we came across this little cute house, which I actually don't know why, but we just saved it. We said, oh, it looks cute. We saved it and just kept scrolling. And I think it was a day later, after we didn't find anything else, when you said, what about this one house there? Can we have a look at it?
Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't stop thinking about it. I think it just looked so different on the photos, and we didn't really know how big is it. Like, it literally looked in the middle of nowhere, and we thought that's perfect.
But we also had the feeling that something's wrong with it. Like the photos, the drone shots were really nice actually, but in the inside we could barely see anything. It was like super dark, full of like Jesus, statues and crosses and dolls. So a little bit creepy. And then also the price for 265,000 kind of seemed like there must be something wrong with it.
I thought that it was like one huge room that you could have maybe like a kitchen in. Yeah. And then like a bedroom. Yeah. I didn't think it would be big at all.
It really looked tiny. And actually also the location was really good because it was quite close to the Netherlands. And we are literally always in the Netherlands for jobs, or north of Germany as well. So it really made sense. For our jobs, we really travel a lot, often for weeks non-stop. And a lot of regular projects are in the Netherlands. That means on a regular basis, we literally have to drive 10 to 13 hours from the south of Germany to the Netherlands. And on a regular basis, we spend about 8 to 10 days every month only on the road. So having a home in the north and also a base at my parents in the south would just save us so many travel days.
Yeah.
Good input.
So anyway, the next day we tried to make an appointment and call the agent, because we wanted to get a viewing for the weekend, which is when we would be in the area anyway. However, the agent said that they had about, was it 30 to 40 viewings in the next days?
Yeah.
And they all had half-hour slots each because it was so popular or so busy. So she recommended that we get there as soon as possible so that we're not the last ones to view it. That's when we decided to literally leave that moment and book a viewing for the next day.
Yeah.
And it was already halfway through the day.
And it was basically like a 8-9 hour drive. So we literally had to pack straight away and just leave to spend the night somewhere close to the house
Location.
already.
Yeah. And we were really nervous. It was a very bold move, but I don't think it was a bad one.
I remember it really well. The morning we came here, it was like super foggy.
It was the perfect dewy morning.
It's really cute.
And the fog was so thick you couldn't see through it, so it's got like a long driveway. And when we were driving down, we couldn't see the house, and like every little inch we could see a little bit more of the house, and it was very exciting.
It was perfect, actually. Yeah. It was like out of a painting when we came closer.
Actually, yeah.
So from the outside, we already fell in love straight away, but I think the biggest risk was the inside, because the photos were really bad and you couldn't see a lot. And we were really worried if it's gonna be like really smelly or just cramped or creepy.
But that's not what we got at all.
When we entered the living room, we were just mind blown.
Yeah.
We realized it has such high ceilings, beautiful oak beams everywhere. We really weren't expecting that.
And the air in here was so good. It was full of old furniture. It's like everything was left exactly how it was. And we sat down in the living room and it was just silent. All you could hear was the birds and a little bit of the trees moving. And it was so peaceful. It was just us in a house, basically.
And also a lot bigger than we expected, right?
Yeah.
We literally thought from the outside it must be tiny. And then we came in, not only the high ceilings, but then also the amount of rooms,
Yeah.
and also upstairs,
Yeah.
that there was also still a lot of space.
We were the first people to view the house. And literally we were here, I want to say 15, 20 minutes. We had only just finished looking upstairs before like 2 people arrived, 2 cars. And it felt so like nerve-wracking knowing that all these people are here because they all want the same house you want. And then at that point we already were like, we want it, but you can just see your competition around you. It was quite nervous.
And also half an hour is really not a lot to view a whole house, because if you want to buy it,
Yeah.
you also want to check it properly, like the roof, the walls, is there any moisture or anything.
Yeah.
So it was quite a bold move, yeah. One thing that I really liked about that house is that it had a full renovation done in the 80s. So even though the house itself is from 1870, I think, but they've already made basically everything new. So it has floor heating, new roof, insulation, windows, insulated windows. So that was really a big point for us, that just minimized the risk at the end.
So it didn't take us long to decide that we wanted to buy the house. So already on the way home, we called the agents and told them the decision that we wanted to buy it. We hoped that this would make them cancel other viewings.
In the first place, the agents told us it's not an auction, it's not a bidding, but if you wanna bid a little bit more, then obviously you will be very likely to get it. We did really fall in love, so we did just bid a bit more.
And then more.
And then more. And then more again.
Yeah.
Because other people also had the same idea.
We thought it was in for a very fair price, or quite low. That's why our expectation of the house itself was very low. But we then kind of were worried when the price started going up that, oh no, our renovation budget is gone.
From 265,000, it was now on 400,000, which is a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
So we were really worried about if it's really worth it, because the bank was stressing, other people were stressing about it. So on the last day, we spent the whole afternoon sitting on the computer and just going through all the pages with houses for sale. We tried to find something that is comparable, but we literally couldn't find anything.
No.
There was always something.
Yeah.
It was either too expensive, not enough land,
Wrong location.
wrong location.
Ugly house. no character.
Also too big. A lot
Yeah.
of them were also too big with like 6 buildings and farmhouses. Or, very important for us, neighbors.
Yeah.
It was really rare finding a spot where you literally have no neighbors. Dealing with the bank was really stressful. First of all, they didn't think the house was worth 400,000 compared to the average here in this area. And then also as self-employed people, it's actually not that easy finding a bank that wants to support you.
So we ended up with many sleepless nights, but in the end we did go ahead and buy the house. We made the final bid at 400,000, which completely wiped out our renovation budget.
Yeah, but we said somehow we gotta manage.
Yeah, somehow we make it work here.
Buying a house in Germany is actually a pretty long and complicated process. So it was actually then 8 weeks later, very unexpected, that we got an email from the bank. We were literally in the middle of Finland in the snow
In a job.
job. And I opened my phone and saw the email that the bank actually transferred the money, which meant we were finally the owners.
It was a very exciting day. So a few weeks later, it was finally time to move. Very early in the morning, we decided to pack up and take our chickens with us for the 8-hour drive.
I felt so bad for them because we had to put them in a little box. The car was fully packed, the trailer was fully packed, and it was quite a long drive. We really wanted to make sure that we arrive before sunset,
yeah,
so that they can just get out at least for half an hour and eat something, drink something, and
explore a little bit their new home.
Yeah.
The chickens had no idea this was their new home. They were just exploring, and also we had no idea how much trouble we would soon have with them.
So we bought the house as we saw it, with all the stuff that was inside. All the furniture, dolls, creepy dolls, Jesus statues, angels, and literally everything. So we did not really feel comfortable to already stay here for the first nights. So we decided to book a holiday apartment for the next 2 weeks.
In those 2 weeks, we decided that would be enough time to fully clean the house. We didn't really know where to start. It was fully packed everywhere you looked. This is a full set with these pots. That's a different set, all white and gold. That's a blue set and a sausage dog. I really think Penny might like this. And a flower pot set. The one I decided to keep, or the one Max let me keep, was this one. So this is the pot, and I think it's a really cute design, and it has a little rose on the lid that you can hold. We kind of wanted to plan with all the things. We didn't want to just throw everything. There was a lot of valuable stuff.
That's quite good. That's the Harry book.
The Harry book, yeah. Or Harry book?
No, Harry, not Harry.
So we decided that it would help gain a little bit of a renovation budget if we made any tiny profit from what came with the house that we didn't want. Therefore, we set up a small studio in the living room, and we literally took photos of everything. We packed it all in numbered boxes and decided to store it.
Luckily, we even found someone for the train set upstairs. There was one room, we call it the train room. It was fully packed with like a model
trains, yeah, toy trains.
Yeah.
It was for sure someone's dream. That was a real investment, this train room.
Yeah, actually. And we were really happy that we found someone already in the first days to take that with them.
They took the lot, and it was really cute. It was an older couple that had just retired, and it was like a hobby they were starting together, so they were gonna like take it apart and rebuild it. Yeah, the room is so much bigger now. It's empty. You literally couldn't walk in it, and because the ceilings like come in, you had to crawl past the train set to get to the other side. So emptying it was also a lot of work. We decided that this room, we fell in love with even more now the train's gone. We just think this is the most beautiful room ever. The beams are just so like perfectly placed out. We were thinking of having the bed by the window here and then right in the middle of these beams. And we can just make it so like cozy, cottagey. And it's got a super high ceiling.
It was really tough 2 weeks because we couldn't cook yet. We lived basically off döner and supermarket salads. We had a deadline, we had to get finished within 2 weeks, so my family came to help us and we literally made it
The night before,
yeah.
We had a deadline because we wanted to change the color of the beams inside. They were very dark, like from the 80s when it was trending, which some people love, but we really wanted to make it a lot brighter in here because the one problem was it was very dark looking. But the sanding people said you really have to have the house fully empty because you're going to find sand everywhere. So he was coming the next day and we were literally packing up like the last things almost at midnight the night before.
And last minute we even had the idea that we didn't like that bit of wall in the corridor.
Yeah.
So we had to hammer out that bit of wall between the beams.
Yeah.
Otherwise it would look odd if one bit is sanded, the other one isn't.
And it's stripy.
And it's stripy.
Oh yeah, in the office. So in the office, they had the beams black and then in between was like white drywall. And we just kind of had the thought of just peeking to see what's underneath because the corridor had nice wood on the ceiling. And luckily we really liked the look of the wood when we took the plaster drywall off. So whilst he was doing the corridor, you literally had half an hour.
Yeah, it was quite stressful, but I think it was the best decision ever, right?
It was. Like, our Pinterest board had these exact ceilings and we didn't even know. And when we saw that, it just kind of clicked straight away. We didn't even think about it twice. I think it took you like an hour.
Yeah, an hour to take the drywall off, but then like 6 hours to get all the screws out.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of pressure, but you did it.
Yeah, we made it. I mean, we were prepared for
Some mess.
but not for this mess. The sand was literally everywhere. I thought it's just gonna be on the floor and maybe in some cracks, but it was just literally on the wall, ceiling, beams, toilet, sink, everything was black.
Yeah.
And still months later is
Yeah, we still find sand some places.
yeah.
It took us 3 days to hoover it. And we had like an industrial hoover because the poor sanding guy felt sorry for us. So he left us his hoover, which was like an industrial size hoover. It electrocuted me every time I used it. And it took us still 3 full days to take 70% of the sand off with this hoover.
But to be honest, I was really happy that we emptied everything before.
Yeah.
Because imagine you have furniture still in or something. That...
Oh, it would be screwed, honestly.
But after they finished, we were just mind blown. It looked so good. The beams, I mean, they were still quite dark, but a lot more natural looking. The ceilings in the corridor and the office,
Oh my God, it's amazing.
just beautiful. And
Yeah.
also upstairs, I mean, they used different type of wood, not oak, so it looks a little bit more alpine style, which is also nice. But yeah, we just loved it. It was a really good decision.
The one thing we discovered was that there's some odd beams in here that were very well hidden when it was dark, right? We didn't notice.
Yeah, actually.
So now our new chore is to find something that matches these beams so that they look like the rest. And I think we will forever look at the imperfections, but when you look at this room when it's finished, I think it will be really cool. And in between all of that, we were still working. So every time we would finish the house in the day, we would go home and work into late hours on our computers as well, which we're very lucky that our job allows that, but it was extremely draining to try and get all of this finished in time. One thing that really sold us on the house was the driveway. It's around 250 meters long. and it only leads to the house. When we first came to the house, it had barely been used, so it was very easy to drive down. It was just like a grass track.
And it looked really pretty and
Yeah.
neat. But we did underestimate winter.
When winter came around and we were using it every day, it did become a quagmire very quickly.
Luckily, we do have a 4x4 car, but even that was struggling at one point with the trailer to get across the driveway. And of course, it got even worse. The heating ran out of oil after like 3-4 weeks. And it was in the middle of winter, it was freezing cold. So we had to get some oil here with a lorry, but that was literally impossible on that driveway. So we had to wait for a really cold day. It had like -7 at night for the ground to freeze, for the lorry to be able to even get here. So I called the guy and said, tomorrow morning it will be frozen. You have to come then. It's our last chance. He said like, yeah, I will be there. And he never came.
No. And that happened for like the next 3 days.
Yeah.
And by the time he did eventually come, it got a lot warmer and everything had defrosted and he instantly became stuck. Then he had to be towed in and towed out by a tractor.
Yeah, thank God we have farmer neighbors.
Yeah, he came to the rescue. But that also happened again a week after with, I think...
DHL.
Yeah, DHL. They also got stuck in the ditch and had to be towed out by the neighbor
With the
again.
Yeah.
So we realized that it's a problem in winter.
So we knew the driveway is a priority, but I also felt like we have a million priorities to do right now.
Yeah. But we felt like it was extremely important to just get moved into the house first because we were staying at this holiday apartment still. And we just thought as soon as we get moved into the house, we can like save a bit of money and start focusing on other things then.
We wanted to have at least one room that's done, that's clean, where we can put our bed, where we have a desk, where we can kind of live. So just one dust-free room.
So we decided that the downstairs office would be our first room to tackle. However, we got quite a strong pea smell coming from the wall. So we decided to take some of the wood panels off and saw that it was pretty much a mouse party up there.
Yeah.
There was lots of poop and they had chewed through all the insulation. So you decided to take all of the insulation out, put fresh ones in, but it smells so much better now.
We weren't quite sure how we want the walls to be. Looking at all our Pinterest boards, we decided that we want to have it really smooth, like smooth plastered walls, which is of course the most difficult solution, but also the prettiest. The walls were full of cracks, which is normal in such an old house, just tiny cracks. So we first had to put like fiberglass stuff on, plaster it, sand it again, plaster again, sand it again. But now it turned out really good. We really love it now. And we obviously also took the old carpet out. We didn't want it to put in the floor already that comes in the rest of the house because we weren't sure at that point. So we just bought like a roll up PVC floor type that looks like wood kind of. We roll it out and it makes such a big difference. It's such a pretty room now.
It's so cozy actually, I love being in that room.
Yeah.
It was already getting quite stressful because in between we had several jobs that we had to travel away for, so time was getting quite limited. But we really just enjoyed every single day we had at the house, and even like having lunch outside for the first time when it was sunny, or the chickens just running around and enjoying it here and seeing them happy. It just felt like everything was one big adventure here.
It was a very stressful time, but we kind of felt very alive and
yeah, actually,
like we are starting something great.
She's the favorite quacker. So the kitchen was actually quite cozy. It was like an old grandma's kitchen, I felt like. It was basically a tiny section of the living room, a closed ceiling, closed off, very small. It left the rest of the living room in a bit of an odd shape. The window wasn't the center of the room anymore, it was kind of blocked off. So we kind of came to the conclusion that we should knock the wall through and make it like open plan.
It was actually one of the first things when we viewed the house the first time. We said, if that wall would be gone, it would be such a beautiful space in here. And we have this beautiful, huge window that would just be like the center of the room then. With these type of houses, the whole weight of the roof and the rooms are on these oak beams. We also asked the carpenter, who said, it's no problem, you can just take these walls out. So we just went ahead with it. We found out that these two beams in the wall actually were not beams.
They were fakes.
They were fake, yeah. So it was just a plank of wood and a steel beam behind, which didn't look the best.
And then the one, you also opened the ceiling, and the beam that was going across the ceiling looked like it was worn away, or...
Yeah, it had some type of woodworms or something. Even though we thought the core might still hold quite a while, it just didn't look very nice from the outside. It was very patchy and a lot of holes, and we decided if we have to get a beam for the steel pillar anyway, then we can also just replace that because it's an easy job, right? We thought.
Well, it's time to take the beams out. We need to replace this beam because it's full of kind of rotten
What's it rotten by, this,
from the worms.
the worms?
And then also we replaced this steel beam here.
So it's in the ground.
Yeah.
We set off to some wood dealer, is that what you would call them?
It sounds very illegal. So we found this dealer that sells old building materials.
That sounds better.
So we just drove there. He had loads of it there. And we actually found the two perfect beams for our house. But we also didn't expect how much he would charge for it, to be honest. We paid over 1,000 euros for these two old beams, which we didn't really expect. But in the end, we also said it will be worth it. And we had no choice. It was already on the trailer when we found out.
Told the price, it was too late to take them back off. And it took like 3 people anyway.
Yeah. Which was the next challenge, because we also had to get them off the trailer and into the kitchen ourselves. And it was like a 6-meter long oak beam. I have no idea how we managed, but we managed it. And we were also really proud after we did that, because we also had people telling us there's no chance you guys will get these beams in by yourself.
But you literally, I mean, I'm not very skilled in this, but Max literally carved the beam out like inch by inch to fit, so they fit perfectly.
Which led to the next problem, because we found out that one of the beams was rotten inside, because they were storing them outdoor.
It must have just got too wet or something.
Yeah, and so the core was like a meter of it had a really, really soft core. So we thought we can either bring it back and argue with the dealer, or we need to find a solution. And it took us hours of thinking. In the end, we had the idea to carve out the top bit of the beam, put a new oak wood inside, and just screw it together. And it was a lot of extra work that we had to do. It worked out quite well, and
you can't see it.
You can't see it because the wood is
on the top side, and the beam is like above you. So you will never see that section of beam and know that there's a plank inside.
Yeah.
That's also the top side. So the underneath is pretty
good.
So you won't be able to see that.
Yeah.
We can just make the screws brown or rusty, and then no one will ever see it. That's the old one.
Yeah.
And you can see here how rotten it is from the worms.
Gross.
like really bad. And so it needs to fit like perfectly behind that and into the wall over there. So there was a lot of maths to do, a lot of maths. And we haven't had the chance to test it, so I'm quite nervous now after 3 days working on this one beam.
We had to buy a winch from Amazon to winch the beam up and then trust it and then put the ratchet straps on and
Just
hope
do
that it doesn't
bit
fall.
by bit, yeah.
And then somehow put these wood nails in, and I don't know how we did it. We were crazy.
Yeah, but we managed, and we can be really proud of it.
Yeah, yeah. I still can't believe we did that. Sometimes when I think about, like, when I think back, I think, oh my God, that happened.
After we had the first beam done, we still wanted to replace the steel pillar. We do have floor heating, which means that underneath the first layer of concrete, there's quite a bit of insulation. So if we put the weight on that, then it might just start cracking or breaking down. So we decided to cut the steel pillar off and put the new beam on top of it, which was very tight. And we also knew that we literally only have one chance to cut the beams in the right length, but we managed. And then we had to get this little steel plate, lift the whole beam and put it in between to weld it on the steel pillar.
Well done, really.
Thank you.
You did the majority of that. I was just a supporting character. It was finally time. After 4 weeks in the holiday apartment and several jobs in between, we finally decided we have to move in. So we just got our mattress out of storage and put it in one of the rooms upstairs, also on like a PVC floor, and we spent the first night in the house.
And we were really worried about that. We thought we might just be creeped out or hear some weird noises or animals or whatever.
Or just think it's weird or like eerie.
Yeah.
Because it's a really old house, but actually we slept really well.
And I remember we literally woke up with the first sunlight coming through the window, shining on the wall, and it was just perfect.
And all you could hear was the birds, and it was just so peaceful, and you kind of just wanted to stay in bed, and it was just exactly how we had imagined it.
One thing that we were really missing in the house was a kitchen or a place where we can really cook, and a sink, because until that point we always had to go to the bathroom sink to wash all the cutlery, and that was really annoying. So we wanted an easy, quick solution, just a temporary kitchen. So we drove to the hardware store, bought some planks, just screwed them together and a sink, and that really changed a lot.
Yeah, and it kind of gave us a little bit of an idea because we placed it where we think we want the kitchen, and it felt like we can finally start living here and exploring how we want the house to be renovated.
There are like a million other jobs to do. We are never sure what our next priority should be because there are just too many priorities. In the end, we really couldn't be more proud of what we do and what we achieve here. Even the tiniest little steps bring us a little bit more forward.
And it's still such a dream because there was a little part of us that thought we will never get this house. So in amidst of all the problems we're finding and how difficult it is to renovate a home on your own, we are always trying to stay grateful that this could have turned out differently. We could have never gotten the house and be here enjoying it as we go. It's definitely changed us. It's definitely grown with us.
And we just enjoy every moment here and being in the house, being outside in the nature. We just love it, and we really can't wait for what the future brings.
Have you heard from the sky?